One conversation could make you over $100,000 in the next 12 months. That is a huge promise. So what the heck is this conversation and how is it going to make me 100 grand? In this video, I want to break down the single most important thing that you get done between now and the end of the year and how and why it is going to change the game for you and for your team in 2026. So the first question, what the heck is this conversation? This conversation is where we present, as the founder, we present our strategic vision to our team. Now, I know that sounds super boring and simple, but let's break down how this makes you money. When we as the founder take the time to not only clarify where is this company going, but then share that with our team, a couple of things happen. Number one, I always say no all-star athlete can run a race if you don't tell them where the finish line is. Your team may be all-star athletes, but if we don't tell them where's the finish line and what is the race course that we are running, how could we possibly expect for them to run as fast as possible, as proactively as possible? We are robbing ourselves of what our team is truly capable of the speed and the proactiveness and the engagement and the buy-in that they could have if all we did was take the time to give them clarity around where are we going? What is this race course? Where are we actually trying to get to? And how are we going to run this race? Because as soon as we do that, we unlock our team's ability to run alongside us, to be proactive instead of reactive, to start to solve their own problems, to start to come up with their own ideas, to start to take initiative. Because we've given them clarity on here's where we're going. And here's how you play an essential part in getting there. So how does that make us money? It makes us money, number one, through speed. Our team is literally just moving faster because they are proactive instead of reactive. They're coming up with their own ideas. And number two, most importantly, they are now able to make their own decisions and solve their own problems. Because right now, if they lack strategic clarity, almost guaranteed, your team is going to one place and one place only for decisions and problem solving. And that's straight to you, right? How many hours of your week are being spent in Slack and on meetings telling your team what to do, what they should be working on, what the next step is, where we're going next, how to solve that problem, what decision needs to be made on that solution, how we're going to work with that client? How much of your time is being spent just telling your team what to do? Take all of those hours. Is that 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week? All of that time is wasted time, pretty much wasted time. Because if instead we painted a clear enough picture for our team on where are we going, how are we going to get there, and how does your role contribute to that growth? What do they need us for? They can make their own decisions because they have all the context that they need to know what the right decision is. They can solve their own problems because they understand how that problem is fitting in and standing in the way of this larger race that we're running and how they need to solve it in order to get to where we're trying to go. They can come up with their own ideas instead of constantly waiting for you to tell them the next thing to do or what the next idea is. So right now, your team is not self-managing because they lack context and they lack clarity. If instead we take an hour of our time to present that context and present that clarity, we unlock enormous levels of speed and we build a team that is capable of being truly self-managing. Now, it is, of course, not as simple as just that, right? Yes, we need to present where are we going? How are we going to get there? The next absolutely critical piece that you need to present is how does your role contribute, right? Tactically, specifically, measurably, what does your role look like in this movie and how it drives growth? And that's where we get down to what are called the leadership scorecard. So this is an entire tool that I have built for our clients and that we now make available for free to everyone because it's so powerful that once we've set the strategic vision, we use the leadership scorecard to help our team understand how do I fit inside of this movie? What are the metrics that I am individually responsible for and that I need to figure out how to make sure these things happen? When we combine strategic clarity with a clear definition of success in every single role, that is where we unlock the ultimate level of growth, productivity, performance, and ultimately profit for you. You will see your team level up. You will see your team move faster. You will see your team get better. And if they don't, you will have this scorecard to hold them accountable and to measure their performance so that you know within the shadow of a doubt who's the right person on the bus and who is not. So that's why we combine the strategic vision with the leadership scorecard. You can grab a copy of the leadership scorecard in the description. It's entirely free. A gift from me to you to help you with this process and unlock maximum performance from your team this year. Okay, so we've got the leadership scorecard. There's a whole training video in there on how to use that tool. Let's get back to the strategic vision. So I wanted to take a moment, business owner to business owner, to talk through and share my best practices around how to present and share your strategic vision with your team. The first and very important question that we need to answer here is, why do we do this? Why do we take all of the time and energy to really think about this and really prepare for this so that we can nail the presentation to our team? Very simply, this is your sales pitch to your team on where are we going and why does it matter to you? If we nail this, then what we unlock within our team is alignment, is focus, is speed, is momentum. We get all of their buy-in. We get all of their motivation. We inspire them towards a vision so that they are excited to sprint and charge towards that vision with us. And that is what we're here to create, is an inspiring vision around where are we going, clarity around why are we going that way and how are we going to get there. And what we're ultimately trying to do is we're trying to take the picture of the vision that we have in our heads and give it to our team so that now it lives in their heads too. Because this is a really important thing that founders forget all the time, which is that because our vision is so rich and it's so vibrant and it's so clear to us, we forget that our team can't read our minds. We forget that all of that clarity and all of that color lives inside of our brains and that our team can't access it. They don't see it as clearly as we see it. They aren't as emotionally attached to it as we intrinsically are because it's our vision, it's not theirs. And so our job is to bridge that gap, to take the vivid vision that is inside of our brains and communicate it to our team in a way that offers them the same level of clarity that we have and offers them the same amount of color and vibrancy and emotional attachment to that vision as we do. And so the best practices that I'm going to share with you are all designed to do that, right? And again, the reason this matters is because it unlocks alignment and speed within our company. If our team understands the finish line and they understand the race course of the race that we are running, then they can run the race with us. They can be proactive and charge down that race course alongside us. If they lack clarity around the finish line, or if they lack clarity around the race course, we cannot possibly expect for them to be able to run as fast as possible or run as proactively as possible because fundamentally, they don't know where they're going. Our job is to make sure that they know where they're going. And if you've checked out Leadership Academy and you've seen this core concept that I talk about of context versus control in context-based leadership, the strategic vision is one of the most important pieces of context that you can ever give to your team. They need this because they literally cannot see it and they cannot come up with it on their own. We have to give this to them. And if we've done a good job of this, and we've painted a really rich and clear picture of, again, where are we going? That's the finish line. And how in the major milestones are we going to get there? That's the race course. Then what we are able to delegate is the how are we going to run the race, right? If we have team members that we trust and we've said, here's where we're going and here's how we're going to get there, then they get to then dive into the tactical day-to-day of like, okay, so what tasks need to be done and what decisions need to be made and what problems need to be solved and how should I be solving those problems? Because they have all of the context that we've provided them, they can now do that without us. They can now be self-managing. They can now be higher autonomy, higher creativity, higher problem-solving individuals because we've given them this important piece of context. So for all of those reasons, this is an important thing to think about, to prepare for, and to nail. So what does that look like? There's a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind. That number one, remember, this is a sales pitch. Bring in storytelling. Bring in emotion, bring in color. Our job is to inspire. Our job is to capture attention. Our job is to paint a vivid vision for our team that they can see themselves as a part of, right? We're not doing this for us. We know what our vision is. We're doing this for them so that they can understand what the vision is, why it's inspiring, why it matters. How can they see themselves in the movie and in the story that we are telling them? Can they see themselves contributing and running towards and being a part of this incredible thing that we're building, right? Like you can tell in my tone of voice, in my body language, in my energy, how I try and present this to my team, because I'm bringing all of that energy because I want them as excited and bought in as I am, right? So bring that energy, turn that inspirational, charismatic leader that I know you are, turn that on and bring that into this call so that we are capturing them and captivating their emotion, their buy-in, their motivation, because that's where we're going to unlock the highest levels of performance from our team. Okay. So that's on the softer side of how do we present it. I also want to put just a couple of notes on your mind in terms of what the content should be. The final piece is really important to add in addition to just the what, right? The what of what does success look like? What is our 12-month vision? What is the race course and the major milestones that we're going to hit along the way? Is to remember to also include the why. We don't just answer the question what, we answer the question why. Why does this matter? Why does it matter to you, right? Not why does it matter to me, the founder? Why does it matter to you, my teammate? Right? Here's a common mistake that I see is that we'll set a 12-month vision and we'll set like a revenue target. Okay, let's say our revenue target is 500K a month. Awesome. Why does that matter? Who cares? Frankly, who cares? So what? Why does it matter, right? 500K per month is meaningless to your team. It's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. It's arbitrary. Why does it matter? Why does it matter to you? Why does it matter to the company? Why does it matter to our clients? Why does it matter to our mission? Why does it matter to them? We have to offer meaning. We have to offer purpose. Otherwise, our team just shows up and they're like, why am I showing up and working hard every day to make my boss more money? That is not an inspiring why for anybody to work towards. So we, the leaders, have to do better, right? Maybe the reason for 500K a month is because it hits a certain exit valuation for us, and it is about us making a certain amount of money and being able to provide for our families. Yes, totally. Beautiful. That's not the why that you necessarily have to share, but go further, do more beyond just your own personal earnings and goals. Why does this matter? And really connect it back to your vision, to your mission, to your core values. And if you can, connect it to the why of your team. Guys, when we hit 500K per month, here's what it means for you and your earning goals and your goals for yourselves and your growth and level up as an individual and as a professional and as an incredible contributor to this team, right? Like, make it matter to them, give them purpose, and help them understand not just the what, but the why. Because people will work hard for a what, but people will go to the ends of the earth. People will self-sacrifice. People will, work on the weekends. People will wake up at 2 a.m. with a thought about how to do their job better for a why. Why is where we really unlock the highest level of buy-in and motivation and performance for our team. So do not skip the why. You're just robbing yourself of all of the potential that your team could be bringing to bear on your business. Okay, so don't just focus on the what, focus on the why. And then the last thing I'll say here is, especially if this is the first time that we are sharing our strategic vision with our team. At the end of the day, we don't do this for us. This has nothing to do with us. This is for our team. It doesn't matter if we're clear on the vision. It matters if they're clear on the vision. And so for that reason, take as much time as you need to answer questions and really slow down and make sure that you are asking, hey, who has questions about this? And ask that like 10 times. Who has questions about this? Who's unsure of how this relates to them or relates to their role or relates to their department? Again, you want to help your team see themselves in this movie. They're going to have questions about how do I show up in this movie? But if it's the first time that you're sharing this with them, or it's the first time that you're asking them to, hey, see yourself as part of this movie, they may not be super comfortable asking questions. They may feel dumb or stupid, like they're missing something. If they're asking an obvious question, they may feel uncomfortable asking questions in front of the rest of the team, right? All of these things are totally normal, and none of these things are acceptable because they are going to get in the way of your team being able to do their best work for you. So slow down and say, and check in often. Who has questions? Is that clear? Do we all understand what that means for us in our roles and in our departments? Hey, head of sales, do you understand what this means for head of sales and why you are so important to this piece of the puzzle, right? Really, really engage your team. This is not just a presentation. This is a conversation. And the more that they bring in their questions, the more that they weigh in, the more that they ask, that is positive data. What it means is that they are starting to see themselves in this movie. And so they're asking all of the questions that they need to understand in order to see how they show up and how they play a role inside of this movie. So if your team is silent, that's a problem. Drag questions out of them. Slow down, call on people, call them out, because once the flow gets starting, then the questions will start to pour forward. But maybe in the beginning, they're a little bit quiet, they're a little bit shy, and we need to overcome that. We need to actively overcome that because silence does not serve us. Our team walking out of this with like, yeah, that was a cool 1 hour presentation from our visionary. Don't really care. I was texting on the side. That does not work. That will have missed the entire point of this exercise. So make sure they are bought in, engaged, asking questions, and that they can clearly see how they fit into the movie that you are playing for them. The final thing I will say is that the unlock of speed and productivity and performance that comes from our team when we do this well will make you so much money. Straight up. It will save you so much time. It will allow your team to start to run and move forward without you. Their decisions will be better. Their ideas will be better. The growth, the profit, and the speed that will come to your business if we nail this is huge. So prioritize it. I know it feels easy to kind of wing it, or it feels easy to not really think about it, and we'll just show up and we'll just kind of throw something out there. I really, really urge you to take time, prepare for this, be ready for this, do a good job with this. Because by you taking that additional hour or two to really think deeply and really check in with yourself and really feel clear on what is my vision and how do I want to present it to my team so I get their alignment and buy-in, any time spent preparing for this is going to ROI 100x for you. On the flip side, when your team now has the clarity that they are able to charge forward from. So number one, take time, prepare, be ready for this, take this seriously, prioritize it, don't let it slip. And strategic vision is not a one and done. Statistically, it takes, on average, 7 to 12 times for a human being to hear something before it actually starts to sink in. That is true, 7 to 12 times. So we're gonna take the time to do the full-on presentation once, but that is not the last time that you need to talk about this. That is not the last time you need to revisit this. That is not the last time you need to keep bringing this up to your team. You're gonna bring this up at least every 90 days. Anywhere that you see the opportunity as you move forward week over week and month over month with your team to bring it back to the vision, to bring it back to the mission, to bring it back to the core values, to bring it back to the strategy, to bring it back to the OKRs. We have to repeat ourselves 7 to 12 times. And by the time you are feeling exhausted and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this again. They must hate me. They must want to kill me because I keep talking about it. I promise you, they are just starting to listen. It is just starting to sink in. They are just starting to get it. So keep repeating yourself and recognize that this is not a one and done. This is where we set the stage. But we are going to play this movie again and again and again and again. And that is one of the most important things that we can do as a leader to continue to create that alignment, that clarity, and ultimately unlock all of that speed and performance that your team wants to give you. So at this point, we have clearly mapped out the strategic vision for our team. What happens if we do this and we still see our team falling short? They're still not solving their own problems. They're still not taking ownership for their own roles. What's going on there and how do we fix it? I've created an entire video covering this topic. You can check it out right here in the corner of the screen so that we can combine strategic vision with radical ownership from our team so that we can truly create the highest performance self-managing team possible. Good luck, and I will see you over there.